Something the size of a small car just exhaled, 12 feet from your fire, and you did not hear it walk there. That's the whole problem with tonight. Not that something found you. Something finding you was always the risk. The problem is that whatever just breathed out there in the dark got close enough to breathe on you. And at no point did you hear so much as a single footstep. You didn't sign up for this. Nobody in your group raised a hand and volunteered to be the one whose watch this happened on. What happened is the fire burned low, the night got quiet, and out here, quiet rarely means empty. It usually just means something hasn't decided to announce itself yet. Here's what almost nobody tells you about the animal currently standing at the edge of your firelight. It was one of the biggest cats that has ever existed on this planet, up to 12% larger than any lion alive today. And, this is the part that should genuinely unsettle you, it almost certainly had no mane, nothing to silhouette it against the dark, nothing to give its outline away before it wants to be seen. It doesn't look like the animal you're picturing right now. That's exactly the point. And it is between you and the rest of your sleeping group. Here's the deeper problem. This is not a rare situation. This is any night your fire burns down far enough. 4 stages. Each one worse than it sounds. If you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel. Have you ever wondered what it actually took to survive a predator built specifically to hunt other predators? One that regularly went after animals bigger and better armed than you? No? Doesn't matter. It's already 12 feet away. You didn't see it arrive. That's the first thing that goes wrong, and it's the part that should scare you more than anything that happens next. This animal was, despite its name, most likely never a cave dweller at all. The name comes entirely from where paleontologists kept finding its bones, fossilized near cave entrances where other predators, bears specifically, denned. It lived out here. Open forest, open grassland, exactly the kind of terrain your group just made camp on. Here's what you're actually looking at. Once your eyes adjust, a body built on a scale that shouldn't be possible for something this quiet. A well-preserved skeleton recovered in Germany measured over 2 meters long and more than a meter at the shoulder, and males in some estimates pushed past 800 pounds. That's not an exaggeration for effect. That's just the animal. Here is the lesser-known fact that reframes everything you thought you knew. Cave art discovered in Chauvet Cave in France, made by people who were actually looking at these animals, not guessing from bones, shows male cave lions with no mane, or, at most, the faintest suggestion of one. You've spent your whole life picturing a lion silhouette a certain way. What's standing at your fire's edge doesn't match it, and that half second of confusion, your brain trying to file a shape it doesn't recognize, is exactly the head start it was counting on. This animal was not built for the long chase either. Its sheer mass worked against sustained speed. Most prey could probably outrun it in open ground, given enough distance, which is exactly why it never intended to give you that distance. Ambush is the entire strategy. Get close enough, undetected, that the chase never has to happen at all. You're standing near your fire. It is standing at the edge of the light, close enough that you caught its exhale before you caught anything else. Your brain, without being asked, has already done the calculation. Your brain does not like the answer. You reach for the nearest branch to feed the fire. The movement is small. It doesn't matter. Something at the edge of the dark has already registered it. This is the encounter. This is where it starts. And the next sound you make will decide whether there are any more decisions after it. Wait, quick thing. Everything we talk about on this channel, the fire, the shelters, the survival tactics, the knowledge that kept ancient humans alive through disasters that should have killed them. Someone actually wrote all of it down. It's called the Primitive Survival Bible, and it covers exactly how to survive without any modern survival gadget. Learn survival techniques just like our ancient ancestors. Essential for everyone. Link in the description if you're interested. Back to the video. The fire wasn't enough, or it flared at the wrong moment, or someone else in your group moved first and the calculation the animal was running landed on them instead of you. However it happened, the engagement has started, and the first thing to understand is that this does not look like a chase. Like modern lions, cave lions most likely killed with a powerful, suffocating bite to the neck, not a prolonged wrestling match, not a drawn-out struggle you can watch coming from a distance. The lion likely wasn't fast enough to run prey down, so the entire strategy was built around never needing to. Ambush from behind. Bring the target down with raw body mass before it even fully registers what's happening. That's what's happening to the person nearest the tree line right now. Here's the part that puts the mechanism in scale. This wasn't a clawing, swiping animal working someone over from a distance. It killed smaller prey with a strike of the paw or a bite through the vertebrae at the back of the neck. Precise, not prolonged. The entire design goal was speed of resolution. Get it over with before the target can organize a defense, before other members of the group can close the distance. Your options right now are genuinely limited. You have a spear, maybe a stone blade, maybe just a burning branch pulled straight from the fire. None of it changes the fundamental problem. Isotope evidence from cave lion bones suggests this animal regularly fed on young cave bears, likely entering dens specifically to take cubs or feed on weakened hibernating adults. If this is an animal built to raid a bear's own home, your spear is not the deciding factor here. Your speed is. There's one more uncertainty working against you tonight, and it's worth naming honestly. Nobody's fully sure whether you're dealing with one cave lion or several. Some isotope evidence suggests these animals were largely solitary hunters, especially at higher altitudes, working alone or in mating pairs. But cave art from this era also shows a pride of 8 lions watching a bison herd together. The honest answer is that both behaviors are documented, and which one applies tonight depends on the individual, the region, the season, none of which you have time to determine right now. Tonight, the sound and movement all point to a single animal. That's the version of tonight you're getting, and it's the one you have to deal with. You grab the burning branch. It's not a weapon. It's a warning shot, and it's the only thing you have that this animal has any evolved reason to respect. Assume it wasn't you it grabbed first. Assume you're the one still standing, burning branch in hand, watching someone else's fight happen 12 feet away. Now you have a different problem, and you have seconds, not minutes, to solve it. Here's the lesser-known fact that changes what seconds actually means tonight. This exact scenario has happened before, and there's direct physical proof of how it ended. A cave lion skeleton recovered from Siegsdorf, Germany, roughly 48,000 years old, shows a partial puncture wound to a rib, consistent with a fatal stab from a wooden thrusting spear. This isn't inference from behavior patterns or educated guesswork about what probably happened. This is a literal weapon mark left in bone, the earliest direct instance of a large predator being killed by a human weapon that we have physical evidence for. Someone, in a moment exactly like this one, closed the distance with a spear and put it exactly where it needed to go. They did not do this by aiming for the head. A skull built to bite through a bear's vertebrae is not the place to test a wooden spear against a moving target. The vulnerable point, then and now, is the same as it's always been on an animal like this. The ribs, the space just behind the foreleg, where a spear driven at the right angle reaches something that actually matters. This requires you to move toward it. Every instinct in your body is telling you to move away. You throw the burning branch first, not to hurt it, but to buy a half second of hesitation. The kind of flinch response fire reliably produces in almost anything that hunts by night. Then you move. Spear angled low, aimed for the space behind the shoulder, and you drive forward with whatever weight you have, because a shallow wound from someone who flinched is worse than no wound at all. It just makes the animal angrier, without stopping anything. The impact isn't clean. It rarely was, but it's enough. The animal recoils, snarls, and for the first time since you noticed its breath at the edge of the firelight, it retreats instead of advancing. That's the fight. Not a victory. A single spear, one good angle, and the specific kind of nerve that prehistoric humans either had or didn't, and the ones who didn't aren't part of this story because they didn't come back to tell it. Let's say you made it through the night, not cleanly. Someone in your group is hurt in ways that will take weeks to heal, if they heal at all. But the fire's still burning, the sun's coming up, and whatever just happened is over, at least the immediate version of it. Here's what comes next, and it's the part that almost never makes it into the story. The body stays, and what your group does with it matters more than you'd expect. Elsewhere at Siegsdorf, a separate find from the spear-marked rib, roughly 190,000 years old, over 100,000 years earlier, archaeologists recovered cave lion foot bones, showing clear evidence that Neanderthals removed the pelt with the claws deliberately left attached. That's not a byproduct of butchering. That's a specific, careful choice, and researchers connect it to trophy and status behavior, something that echoes the same instinct that still puts a lion's image on royal banners and flags today, present in the people standing over animals like this one, tens of thousands of years before writing existed. You don't win a fight like this and walk away untouched, but you don't walk away empty-handed either. Here's the lesser-known fact that puts the whole night into a different kind of perspective. Even this animal had its own predators to worry about. Hyena bite marks are common on cave lion bones recovered from sites across Europe, some showing clear evidence of healing, meaning the lion survived the encounter, at least the first time. Cave hyenas fought cave lions over carcasses regularly enough to leave a fossil record of it. Nothing in this world, including the thing that almost killed you tonight, got to walk through it without a rival of its own. Cave lions went extinct roughly 13,000 years ago, and the honest answer is nobody fully agrees on why. Climate change, shifting prey populations, competition with other predators, competition with people like you, all suggested, none confirmed. What is confirmed is the rib bone in Siegsdorf, the pelt with the claws still attached, the healed hyena wounds on animals that fought and lived to fight again. The record isn't a story someone wrote down. It's just what got left behind, cataloged by whoever survived long enough to bury it and remember where. 4 stages. The encounter where you didn't hear it arrive, and that was the whole warning. The attack, where speed decided things faster than strength ever could have. The fight, where one spear, one angle, and the nerve to move toward the danger instead of away from it made the difference between a story and a silence. And the aftermath, where the pelt got taken, the wounded got carried, and the fire got rebuilt before anyone had time to fully process what just happened. None of you applied for this. All of you were just asleep near a fire that burned a little too low. The job picked you. Here's the thing worth sitting with. The people who survived nights like this weren't the strongest people who ever lived. They were the ones who moved when moving mattered, and stayed still when stillness mattered more, and knew, somehow without being told, which of those 2 seconds this one was. If this video didn't finish you off, watch the next one.